On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me two turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me three grand checks, two turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Come on, you know I got ya. Yeah, one. Break the wall, break down the walls. Flip over the back and rock and watch the rock. Baby, you know you're Judas and I'm your priest. Baby, what I got is not from the least. Bring it to the stage in the rage of the beast. Step in the arena and break the wall down. Step in the arena and break the wall down. Now you know, coming on down, Jericho. You know I got ya. Now you know. Jericho. Yeah.
I'm back! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Game Changer, the 12 Days of Booking. This is indeed day 3, and it's going to be surrounding the Intercontinental title. Hello, everybody. I am Nate the Effing Great, back again from a bit of a long, easy vacation, I guess you could say. I am indeed your Game Changer champion, as well as your Elite Ringside Network champion. Oh boy, it feels good to be the king. Now, of course, guys, on day 3, I did say that it was going to be something that's going to involve a awesome one, as well as a GOAT, aka the Alpha. You can just drink it in, man! Yes, I am talking about how I would book Chris Jericho versus The Miz at WrestleMania. Now, this one was not exactly requested. This is one that I kind of wanted to do for sole reason that I really want this to boil down between Chris Jericho and The Miz to determine who will be the first ever 10-time Intercontinental Champion. So, how would we go about doing that? Well, let me tell you. First of all, I would definitely have The Miz regain the title back from Roman Reigns before the Royal Rumble. It should really happen the night before the Royal Rumble, if not maybe a couple of weeks before Royal Rumble. But before the Royal Rumble, Miz regains the title. Actually, I may have misspoken about that. I actually have to read my notes again. Oh, wait, no. No, yeah, I definitely misspoke about that. So Roman Reigns still has the title from the time now to the Royal Rumble time. Royal Rumble happens, Miz returns at that point, but The Miz does not win the Royal Rumble. Actually, The Miz regains his title the night after the Royal Rumble to become the 8-time Intercontinental Champion. So for those of you that are following me, Miz does not win the Rumble, and he regains it after Royal Rumble. I thought that it should happen beforehand, but then I remembered why I had it after Royal Rumble for the shock value. That's right. All right, so we have The Miz the following week having his celebration, just saying, like, I'm an 8-time Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to have another great movie, The Marine, 5 or 6 or 7. I can't remember which one it was again. It's, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. Just celebrating, he's ready for just a great time. Roman Reigns comes out, crashes the party, and he says, I want to cash in on my rematch clause. And Miz says, oh, okay, fine. We'll do that next week on Raw. And you guessed it, The Miz retains his Intercontinental title on Raw the following week. Now, the week before Elimination Chamber, obviously you need to build up to have Mr. Miz face off against a different face going into Elimination Chamber. And by this point, Roman Reigns has already entered into the Elimination Chamber, so not even going to go into that until a little bit later on, so bear with me. Miz actually loses in a non-title matchup to Jason Jordan. And I know. A lot of people are, of course, just not exactly pleased about that because people don't like Jason Jordan, but he's not going to be Intercontinental Champion for long. Yes, you just figured it out. At Elimination Chamber, Jason Jordan wins the title off of The Miz. We just give him that single run. Maybe, hopefully, he's gotten better at the time. Maybe he starts showing a little bit more heel tactics during this deal. I think I would definitely have that going through because then maybe you can build up to a match with Jason Jordan and a proper babyface in the near future. But yeah, Jason Jordan starts being a little bit more heelish nowadays. He starts doing, He's grabbing the tights, he's using the ropes, he's doing underhanded shenanigans, you might say. Just really becoming just that heel that Kurt Angle was kind of when he first started off in his career. Night after, Miz regains the title from Jason Jordan and becomes the 9-time champion, eventually retaining against Jason Jordan the week after, because we have to give him the rematch clause just because reasons. And honestly, it really does give Jason Jordan a little bit more boost in his stock, and it just gives Miz something to do. Now, here's where things get to be very, very interesting. So, we are a few weeks away from the WrestleMania, and Miz wants to become the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. He wants to immortalize himself as the greatest champion that ever held that strap. So what he does is he actually schedules a quote-unquote matchup between himself and Bo Dallas. He lies down for Bo. Bo gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. Bo Dallas is your new Intercontinental Champion. Of course, Bo can be just running around doing his little Bo leave deal. He's getting a little too into it. This is kind of one of those big deals for him because this is honestly the first major title he's won on the main roster. So it's a really special moment for him. It's like, hey, I'm the Intercontinental Champion. I believe in myself again. Parading around the ring, just looking like he would do. And then he gets back in the ring and Miz stops him. And he says, remember our deal. You are going to now lay down for me so that I can be the Intercontinental Champion. And this is where we see a little bit of friction between the Miztourage, mainly Bo Dallas, and the Miz right now. So Miz tells him just again and again, just lie down, get down so that I can make history. Bo Dallas is just insane. He doesn't want to do it. He has too much respect. He even has so much respect, he just says, this is not good for the title. This just basically makes it a throwaway just to have you win it back again. And Miz just says, I don't care what you think. I want what I want, and that is to be the 10-time champion. Now lie down. Bo, after just so many minutes of convincing, finally just says, fine. He lies down, Miz covers, 1, 2, 3. Seemingly, Miz is the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. However, Kurt Angle comes out and he says, hold on. Now, Miz, while I understand that you want to make this basically a hot potato deal, I am not fine with this. The Intercontinental title has too much prestige, and you are just tarnishing it in just one night. So therefore, your 10th reign as Intercontinental Champion is null and void. So he actually takes that away, and he vacates the Intercontinental Championship. So the week after, we see a tournament is announced to determine who will be the new Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania. So, with that, we have 4 brackets, and I'll be breaking down to 2, and then into 1 at WrestleMania. So, the first bracket will have Miz versus Bo Dallas. Next, we'll have Jason Jordan against Curtis Axel. Third, we'll have Dean Ambrose versus Kane, and then Goldust versus the returning Chris Jericho. Now, obviously, a lot of people see where this is going, and this is mainly a former Intercontinental title holder tournament, basically. So, basically, anybody who's held the Intercontinental title before will go on to the tournament. So, the matchup between Bo Dallas and The Miz, obviously, Bo is just saying, I am not going to do it, I'm not laying down. So, there's a very physical matchup between Bo Dallas and The Miz. In the end, The Miz picks up the victory. He actually gets the win maybe by shenanigans, maybe a poke to the eye and then skull-crushing finale, some way where it does really just make Bo a bit cross. He's not fully turned on him yet, but it's just one of those things where it's like, this is more about his self-respect. It's not about him hating The Miz. It's more about he feels that he is just selling himself out for something that he thinks would better his career, but he's not ready to do that again. So, we have Jason Jordan defeating Curtis Axel. We have Dean Ambrose defeating Kane. We have, of course, Chris Jericho defeating Goldust. So, we go into the semifinal matches, which will be Miz taking out Jason Jordan, and, of course, Dean Ambrose losing to Chris Jericho. The final Raw before WrestleMania, we have a contract signing between The Miz and Chris Jericho. And again, this is what it's all built up about. Obviously, Chris Jericho comes out and he says, I never had to lie down to win, my title runs. I have to earn them every single time. And for you to try and win that 10th reign just because you think that you can just buy your way into it, it's not right at all. So this is where Jericho is just really turning into that, like, hail the conquering hero. Chris Jericho is showing that he has a lot of respect for the Intercontinental title. He says, yes, he has done a lot of things to win that title, but he's never had to have somebody lie down for him. And that is why at WrestleMania, he is going to make sure that Miz lies down, but the hard way. It's not going to be one of those deals where he is just going to have it handed over to him. He's going to prove why he is the best in the world at what he does, and that he is indeed going to be the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. Of course, the Miz puts on a great promo just saying, like, I've actually been here for a long time. I think I deserve a little bit of a freebie every now and then. What have you done? You have been just popping in here and there and everywhere, where not showing up full-time like I have been. So really just doing like a major shoot deal between Chris Jericho and The Miz. And of course, The Miz will get the final word by hitting the Skull Crush finale on Chris Jericho. And we go to WrestleMania. Chris Jericho, he has a great entrance. Maybe they bring back the List of Jericho again down the entranceway, or maybe he just has this major pyro explosion. Miz comes out just like with paparazzi, and maybe, I don't think I would have him race at ringside. I would not even have the Miz Taraj at ringside. I would have this be a complete one-on-one matchup. So Kurt Angle makes it one-on-one, and he says that if Miz Taraj gets involved in your matchup at WrestleMania, then you, Miz, will indeed be disqualified, and Chris Jericho will become the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. So we have a great matchup between Chris Jericho and The Miz at WrestleMania. Miz, pulling out the figure 4 leg lock, doing his DDT, even trying to do his Daniel Bryan deal, where he's doing the it kicks and the running quarter, just rubbing in the face of him, and he locks in the walls of Jericho on Chris Jericho during this matchup as an ultimate sign of disrespect, making him the just amazing heel that he is. And there even comes a point where he tries to go for the Lion Tamer, but Chris Jericho says, no, that's not going to happen. He locks in the Lion Tamer on the Miz. Miz is so close to tapping out, but he gets to the bottom rope just totally ready to, just totally ready to finish him out, but Miz gets the bottom rope. Good to go. Miz, in the end, though, gets the victory, hits a skull-crushing finale on Jericho. This would actually be the second skull-crushing finale on Jericho after Jericho put his foot on the bottom rope for the first one. Second one gets him in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Miz becomes the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. And right now, it seems like it would work perfectly for him. Miz has definitely been busting his ass. He deserves to have that honor right now. Now, obviously, down the line, Chris Jericho will indeed have his rematch against The Miz, and he ties with Miz as the 10-time Intercontinental Champion. Of course, Miz will eventually win it back and become the 11-time Intercontinental Champion, but that is for later on down the road. In all honesty, that's really how I would book The Miz versus Chris Jericho. I know this is a bit of a shorter podcast, but reason being is because I have to get ready for my other podcast right now. Victory Bell will be calling in just a bit. So, with that being said, thank you guys for joining me here for this another edition of the 12 days of booking here. Just going to look to see what we got for the next one. Oh boy, that is oh boy, I am not going to be ready for this one. Day 4 will be coming out on Monday, so be sure to tune in to that. Also, guys, be sure to give me a follow on Twitter at RealFNGame, as well as give us a like on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/changing up the game, as well as enjoying us here on Spreaker.com, as well as iTunes, Podbean, Podomatic, SoundCloud, as well as Mr. NTG1990 on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me here for this edition. I will see you guys in the next episode, which will be very soon, actually. So, bye-bye.
To pay. Time for you to get down on your knees and pray. You can say goodbye to the good old days. They're never coming back. Watch your future fade. I came to play to get my dues paid. I guess you had a dream, but it can't be saved. I'm lazy. I came to
see me, don't even say my name. Don't think that you can know me, don't try and play that game. Every day that I get better, I watch as you get worse. My script is to the letter, and I'll write your final verse.